So the creepy-ass billionaire Peter Thiel has been a bit of a problem for the Trump regime for a while now because he's like the objectively most unattractive face you could put on the oligarchy, right? And that's what Trump is he's a cuck to the oligarchy. Take a look at this. New, J.D. Vance's top donor suggests Pope Leo is the Antichrist. That's, of course, Peter Thiel. In a leaked lecture, Peter Thiel says he's urged Vance to ignore the Pope on moral questions and simply pray for him. So, for those of you who don't know, J.D. Vance is a literal creation of Peter Thiel. He's a creation of Peter Thiel, the billionaire oligarch. And so, J.D. Vance is in a bit of a conundrum here because his faith is Catholic. He's supposed to believe the Pope has a direct line to God. But now, his monetary sugar daddy is going, no. That guy's actually the Antichrist. So stay away from him. What? All right, let's read through some of this here. In a private lecture series on the Antichrist, tech billionaire Peter Thiel, a key backer of Vice President J.D. Vance, has unveiled a techno-utopian creed that clashes with traditional Christianity. It's an alarming stance, especially given Thiel's outsized influence on Vance, a rising Republican star widely seen as the party's top 2028 presidential contender. Thiel's Antichrist lecture, name-checked Pope Leo, suggested that Thiel has encouraged J.D. Vance to ignore the moral advice of the Pope and offer a window into a Silicon Valley spirituality that is profoundly heterodox, closer to ancient Gnosticism than to Orthodox Christianity. And they insist that technology and human innovation are the true sources of salvation. Oh boy. So, by the way, this Pope Leo is very similar to the previous Pope, and so he's very left-leaning. He's like anti-war, he's pro-immigrant. And so, God forbid you have a Catholic leader who preaches that you should act more like the example of Jesus. That is unacceptable. And so it's probably going to be pretty easy for J.D. Vance to take Peter Thiel's advice here and not listen because, he's like a commie pope or some shit. That's how he's going to think about it. This is deeply concerning since Thiel is the main patron behind Vance's political ascent. Thiel's alliance with J.D. Vance is no accident. The pair first connected over a decade ago when Vance was a Yale law student impressed by Thiel's contrarian ideas. Thiel soon became a mentor and benefactor, recruiting Vance into his venture firm and later bankrolling Vance's political rise. In fact, Vance's 2022 Senate victory in Ohio would not have happened without Thiel's $15 million investment. Literally, Vance literally bought that Senate seat because of Peter Thiel. Thiel knew what he was buying. Vance had worked for Thiel's California Venture Capital Fund and immersed himself in Thiel's libertarian tech milieu. Now Thiel is betting that Vance can carry his worldview to the pinnacle of power. One associate even calls Vance a generational bet for Thiel, a protege groomed to advance a new political movement shaped by Silicon Valley's elite. In Vance, Thiel apparently sees a future leader for 2028 who will champion the idea that unfettered technological disruption should trump old norms and institutions. So guys, this goes back to, we talked about how they want to ban any and all regulation of AI. This is what he's paying for. He's paying for a Republican Party that'll say, I don't care what the danger is. I don't care what the threats are. I don't care about the societal uprooting that's about to happen as a direct result of this. I don't care how many jobs are lost. I don't care. Go ahead. Go to town. Whatever. And so Republicans are fighting to make that a reality. Zero AI regulation for a fucking decade. That is ludicrous. That is mental. That is like national suicide is what it is. Just insane. So as you all know, Peter Thiel is obsessed with the Antichrist. It is very weird. It is very disturbing. He did that famous interview with the New York Times reporter, Ross Douthat. And Ross was like, you'd like to see humanity survive, right? And Peter Thiel goes, He can't answer the question. He can't answer the fucking question. He's like, you mean to say yes, right? You think humanity should survive? He's like, yeah, I guess, but at the same time, I feel like we should be able to change things about ourselves. Like, we should go beyond just being trans as in transgender. We should be able to change your heart and your mind and your this and your that. So these people, okay, they literally are trying to create God in a computer. They're trying to create God AI. And they also are open about the fact they want that AI to steal everybody's job. They're open about the fact they're libertarian, which means there will be no social safety net to pick you up when you can't get a job and you can't pay your fucking light bill and you can't pay the rent and you can't afford to feed your kids. These people are psychotic. These people are totally redoing the social contract with no input from the majority of us. This is dangerous shit. It is dangerous shit. And by the way, there's a lot of creepy ass stuff in Peter Thiel's background. Lovers who were close to him who wound up dead, right? Why is it every time he's on camera, he looks like he's got this oily, sweaty, wet ass face, and he looks like he just got finished committing a crime and is being interrogated by the cops, right? He always looks like this. These people are disturbing. These people are freaks. In Thiel's apocalyptic vision, the Antichrist isn't a horned beast as much as a seductive movement bent on halting human progress. At his exclusive lectures in San Francisco, Thiel argued that the ultimate end times tyrant would come as a Luddite who wants to stop all science using doomsday fears to seize global control over technology. By the way, based on his description here, the Antichrist would actually be like RFK Jr., who's destroying all scientific inquiry and medical research. They froze countless studies that were being worked on for like decades for various illnesses. You know, Elon Musk destroyed the pediatric cancer research, where in one instance they basically had a cure for childhood leukemia. Like, those would be the Antichrist, right? But no, I actually think it's fair to say the real Antichrist could be Peter Thiel himself. If we're really talking about Antichrist, how about a billionaire who comes out of nowhere and decides, we're going to spy on everybody. We're going to create a mass blackmail network. So, I don't know, that seems pretty Antichrist-like to me. A guy who says, we're going to create this new technology, but I need no regulation whatsoever, no input from the government, no safety rules in place. So, that to me sounds more like the Antichrist. A guy who wants zero guardrails put on him, and he wants to create life-altering technology while also keeping a blackmail file on literally any and every American. That to me sounds like the Antichrist, but no. He says the Antichrist is going to be a Luddite. You know what a Luddite is to him? Somebody like me, who says, I don't know, man, maybe we should freeze all updates to AI, all advancements in AI, until we can figure out what the fuck is going on, right? Because now you're talking about 32% of jobs, entry-level jobs, already wiped out, already, because of ChatGPT. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So what are you going to do? People can't get jobs now. What are they supposed to do? Trump cut food stamps. He cut the social safety net. He cut the food banks. So, like, you got nowhere to get food. You got nowhere to get, an entry-level job. What are people supposed to do? You know, we also have the problem of massive misinformation and disinformation, realistic-looking videos. That destroys our information environment. That destroys our ability to have any truth in politics whatsoever, right? How about the fact that the bubble is fucking, 14 times bigger than the internet bubble in the early 2000s and 4 times as big as the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008? Like, this is a problem, right? Never mind the fact that it requires so much energy to make these data centers. They pollute the areas like crazy. People get sick in Memphis because of Grok's data center. It like poisons people. It uses up water resources like crazy. You have all of these fucking serious issues. And he says, if you want to check us with our unlimited power, our billionaire power, you're the problem. You're the Antichrist. No, bitch, you're the fucking Antichrist. I got nothing in my background like you got in yours. The creepy ass shit you got in yours, homie. Let's get it straight. Jesus Christ. He railed against legionnaires of the Antichrist in today's world, a cast that, in his view, includes environmentalists, international agencies, and regulators who urge caution on AI or climate change. Thiel even name-checked climate activist Greta Thunberg as a possible unwitting agent of this evil, lumping her in with bureaucrats whose stringent rules might shackle innovation. But even more shocking was Thiel's decision to bring Pope Leo into the mix. So anyway, there we are. There we have it. I mean, super disturbing. And J.D. Vance, when asked to pick between the billionaire sugar daddy and his faith, he will absolutely pick the billionaire sugar daddy because that's who he is. He believes in nothing. This guy's he's a vapid, empty black hole of a person. There are no core beliefs. There are no core principles. He believes in power. And so, these are the people who are destroying the country right now, by the way, the billionaires. All the bullshit you've been taught about, the trans people are the problem and immigrants are the problem, you're wrong. The problem has always been and will always be these billionaires. These billionaires that have all the money, they have all the power, they rigged the government, they've broken the system, it no longer represents us at all, no longer gives you a chance at all, and they want more power. They want all of the power. They want you to be a fucking slave peasant. That's what they want. And he's going to stop at nothing until he can get that. And so, just be aware. Be aware, this is what we're actually up against. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. I love y'all very much, man. Thank you, as always, for listening. You guys can subscribe to the channel, support the show on Patreon, support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. Sign up over there for that. And go sub to Corn's World so you can see the live Kyle and Corn episodes Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. I love all y'all, man. I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.